speculate that you and your mom did not have a good relationship and that's why you moved in with Robyn, or that Robyn was taking advantage of you by having you take care of her kids. Parentification is a word that comes up a lot when discussing the older Brown kids. And her babysitter at the time, her nanny, had to stop. He had to move away. One of her brothers was helping her. So she needed help. But I also was struggling with life. It wasn't with my mom. I was struggling with some other things with life, and I needed to get out. So it was a really good way for me to get out and to get help. But it was also a good way for Robyn to get help. So it just worked out brilliantly.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. Well, it wouldn't be a day unless there was some tea with the sister wives or one of the sister wives' kids, adults, speaking out about their family. Now, Mykelti and Tony, some of you guys have decided you're not super big fans of because you feel like they are they work for Kody, like they're the flying monkeys of Kody, though I don't think they can be flying monkeys. They're probably just like regurgitating what Kody and Robyn tell them. Anyways, Tony and Mykelti had another watch with me episode. They watched an episode and answered questions in the middle of the episode, and it wasn't as salacious or as scandalous. There wasn't a lot of nuggets in this one, but there was something that was in there that I thought was interesting. And there's been this elusive discussion regarding Robyn and her health, which has never been openly discussed on the show. And so I'm trying to understand what the heck she's talking about. On top of that, she talked a little bit about why she moved in with Robyn back when she was in 8th grade, and answered some questions about the patriarchy. And at the end of this video, what I'd love to talk to you about is Kody Brown and Robyn were spotted in Las Vegas in the end of February. And obviously this has created a lot of questions about whether or not Kody would potentially try to seek Robyn's sister as a sister wife. I know it's a lot to digest. Her sister, Tara Lise, is not in this group. She has been living in Las Vegas for a decade. She doesn't dress like a polygamist. And now fans are suggesting or thinking that Tara Lise could be the new sister wife. I mean, stranger things have happened. Let's just say that. We'll dive into that at the very end. So Kody Brown and his kids, they don't get along very well. And Kody is basically a stud that we like to refer as the swimming donor. Like his little seed swam and he got people pregnant, and then he was like, okay, new baby, spirit baby for heaven, bye, gotcha. And so Kody has only been a good father to a certain number of children. Despite that, there are children that he neglected as an adult, and that he neglected as children that still love him and are likely still desperate for a relationship with him. You know, it seems like in every family there's sort of this difference between how children handle conflict with their parents. Some children constantly will do things like, just in my own experience, some are like more, I don't want to rock the boat, I'm just going to go with the flow. I don't care if my parents suck or they've done bad things. I don't want to disrupt anything. I don't want to lose relationships. And so those people will just let things slide. They will go with whatever that parent that they don't like says and kind of become like allies with the parents that are not great parents. And then other kids in these sort of dysfunctional families, and again, just going off my own experience, won't want to deal with it. And they want separation, and they don't want to go with the status quo, and they're not happy to just say, well, it was just how I was raised, so I have to deal with it. And instead, they set boundaries, they create different relationships, they perhaps separate themselves from their families. But there's always, when it comes to narcissism, at least in what I've seen, and I'm, again, not a professional here, but there's generally a child that's kind of like the golden child, and then there's children that are scapegoats. And so if you've ever been a scapegoat, you kind of know what it's like, and you might know that the scapegoats obviously can become ones that become the sheep that leave the flock because everyone's been horrible to them. So I think what you see a lot of in this family are people that have been alienated and sort of isolated and scapegoated are the ones that you see kind of speaking out against Kody, and the ones that maybe Kody has been able to manipulate and favor are the ones that support him. And so perhaps Mykelti is that daughter that is like a golden child to him in many ways. I don't know. He obviously feels like he has a way to manipulate her, and even though she says things about him that are critical, she never really truly goes there. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, so Mykelti to me feels more like the golden child, and then Gwendolyn feels more like the scapegoat. Okay, so now that we have that settled, at least in my opinion, again, I'm not a psychologist, let's dive into today's topic. Can you do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, please subscribe to my channel if you've not yet subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button down there. If you have not yet, click on the bell so you get notified anytime I go live or new content loads. And make sure to leave a comment if you have something to say, and share this video with your friends. Okay, so Robyn Brown actually spoke about having hypoglycemia when she wrote Becoming Sister Wives. And she said that because of her hypoglycemia, she had to eat every so often, and she had to be really careful about making sure to manage her blood sugar and not go long times without eating. And then fans started to notice with Robyn what appeared to be a goiter that was growing on her thyroid. So her thyroid appeared to be getting swollen. So a goiter happens when you have a thyroid that either has cancer, tumors, or you have a disease called like Hashimoto's, where the thyroid isn't releasing enough thyroid TSH and it swells. The good news is that even if it's Hashimoto's, there's treatment, and the treatment is medication and managing the levels of the thyroid. I can only speak to this because I have experience having a child with hypothyroidism, and if Robyn is using hypothyroidism as an excuse for why Kody needed protocols to protect her life, she's overreacting. I'm just gonna say it. So on this, and why I say that is on the Q&A, Mykelti stated that the reason why Kody developed these really strict protocols and rules was because Robyn's son had RSV once when he was 2 and he wasn't even hospitalized. So she was, again, overreacting. And because Robyn has an autoimmune disorder that makes her high risk. Okay. So the only thing that I could find when I looked up online was that she maybe once spoke about having Hashimoto's disease, which made her feel very tired when she first got diagnosed with it. She couldn't get out of bed for days, and as a result has needed extra help around the house, and that was about it. And it took a while to stabilize. Now, anyone that has dealt with a loved one or has hypothyroidism knows that it can definitely cause fatigue. So according to Hopkins Medicine, because I'm not a doctor, it says that it can make you feel tired, muscle weakness, weight gain, being cold would bother you, depression, hair and skin changes. And that would be underactive. So it makes you feel tired, muscle weaknesses, weight gain, being cold bothers you, depression, weight gain, hair loss. Other things that I can just speak to was that for my son, it affected his liver. So his liver started slowing down a little bit because the thyroid is sort of the fuel that makes your metabolism go. And so he was very jaundiced when he was born. That was a symptom. And once they got that under control, that went away. And another symptom of Hashimoto's is a goiter that can be a bulge in your neck, and it can cause pain or trouble with swallowing, breathing, or speaking. Now, if someone has a goiter, they can actually have their thyroid removed, and they can also take medicine, which should improve the thyroid. If you have a goiter, you start, according to Penn Medicine, you can thyroid replacement medicine pills. So You take like levothyroxine. And then if you can also take small doses of iodine or potassium solution if it's from a lack of iodine. And surgery can help remove part or all of the gland if it becomes so restrictive. So the goiter can disappear once you start treating it, or if it doesn't disappear and treatment doesn't resolve it through taking medication, you can have it removed. So sometimes people will have it removed and you'll see like a little scar right here, and it's just a small incision, and they just go in and they remove it. So long story short, if Robyn properly treated this, she could manage her health. She could remove the goiter if she needs to, if it affects her breathing, and she could live a normally healthy life. Now, managing hypothyroidism is not easy. It requires like blood draws, and sometimes when your body fluctuates, you can have changes, and you might need a higher or lower dose. It can really, for some people, it can take a long time to find the right dose, and individuals might say to you, like in our case, it took us months to figure out what the right sweet spot was for our son. But once it's treated, most people don't have a ton of the side effects if it was untreated. So theoretically, is what I'm saying is that as long as she treats this properly with medication and or surgery, and even if she has it removed, she still would have to take the medication, because you can't get rid of this on your own, and your body needs thyroid to literally survive, for your metabolism. So as long as she does those things, she wouldn't be any more high risk than anyone else to getting COVID. According to the CDC, there's no one that has hypothyroidism is not listed as a class of individuals that would have been considered higher risk. If she has asthma, she might have been considered higher risk. If she gets chronic lung diseases, like she has an embolism or hypertension, if she has a heart disease, if she has diabetes, type 1 or type 2, heart conditions, and primary autoimmune diseases, which doesn't include Hashimoto's. So there's nothing really about Robyn specifically that makes her high risk. So I don't know. I think maybe she's being a hypochondriac. That's just me. And again, because Mr. Solomon had RSV one time when he was a kid. Like literally every kid literally every child has had RSV, at least most of them. And for most kids, they recover. And if he wasn't even hospitalized, again, she's a hypochondriac, and she doesn't like to go to the doctor. So again, maybe she doesn't treat the Hashimoto's correctly with medication, and then therefore, because of that, she has a big goiter and she can't breathe. I mean, that could be it too. I mean, but she should probably take care of her health if that's the case. That's just my 2 cents. So anyways, long story short, Kody's rules are because of Robyn. We've already known that. Anyways, so next, she talked a little bit about if Janelle and Kody could reconcile, and it would have to be that he would stop being so patriarchal. And they also agreed that if he was less patriarchal, it would help improve all relationships with his family. And because nobody really likes him being the patriarch. And she had to move in with Robyn to help Robyn. So my thoughts again on Robyn are, is she using this autoimmune disorder as a way to keep Kody at her house, making her feel like she's sicker than she is? And does she use it in her advantage? Same with Solomon. It's like, oh, Kody, you need to be with me because I'm so sick. I'm just going to say, like, my son has a lot of health conditions, and I really don't talk about them publicly, but I would say on the list of things that we're concerned about on a daily basis, when it came to COVID, his hypothyroidism was like the bottom. We weren't even concerned of that as a factor for high risk. There's a million other things we were concerned about, and that wasn't one of them. So it's just, to me, another reason for her to claim that she's a victim. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about was Kody and Robyn were seen in Vegas with her sister, Tara Leese. And so some people are speculating that Robyn and Kody might take her sister as a sister wife. Now, here's why I'm not sure about this, because Tara Leese is not in the group. The AUB, Kody and Robyn aren't theoretically either, even though they're not like kicked out. They're not necessarily going to the church all the time. But she's not in this church anymore. She lives in Las Vegas. She for sure does not follow their modesty standards. She wears lots of clothing that would be completely not approved by Kody and not approved by the church. And she There's like, you can go to her Instagram and you can go to her Facebook and see that like she goes out and she drinks and she lives a life that's very opposite of fundamentalism. Plus she lives in Vegas and lives, you know, sort of that more secular lifestyle. She's 30, and unless she's going to be like Robyn and suddenly say like, well, I just rebelled and I'm going to go back to my fundy ways, I don't know that this would be the case. And something I noticed while they were walking and out is that she was wearing a shirt where her stomach was exposed. And not that I give a crap, because I think anyone can wear whatever they want. But when it comes to Robyn and Kody, they would never be down with that, because even if they're not necessarily a part of their church, they still follow some level of modesty standards. And a woman showing her stomach and having a low cut top is not part of that. So the sister was wearing a low cut top with her stomach showing, which her sister is absolutely gorgeous. It's a horrible picture, what they snapped of her, but if you go to her Instagram, you can see how pretty her sister is. It wouldn't be the first time a polygamist would like try to marry another one of his wife's sisters. I mean, Joe Darger did this. He married his wife's twin sister. This literally happens all the time. So could they be trying to groom her and woo her in because they're so desperate for another sister wife? Maybe. Or is it more probable that they just went to go visit her? Probably that. I don't see them taking her as a sister wife, but I don't know, because Kody and Robyn would do anything for the show and for fame. I hope that Tara Lise is like further out of this and has more sense in herself to like try to fall into this, but she is single and she lives a single life, so who knows? Tara, don't do it. If they're trying to groom you, say no. Just saying. Okay, so Kody and Robyn could be trying to groom her sister, maybe, maybe not. And Robyn's mysterious illness is the reason why she needs nannies all the time. And my guess is because they're so suspicious of doctors, and knowing that the way that this family thinks that they can treat everything with naturopathy and with like herbs and supplements, maybe she's fallen into this trap thinking that that she doesn't need to take medication for this. She doesn't believe in vaccines, so it could also be very much that she doesn't believe in taking medications as well. And if that's the case, I feel sorry for her, because it's a horrible way to live when you feel tired all the time, fatigued, and like hot, like your body can't regulate its temperature very well. So let's hope that Robyn treats that thyroid, and let's hope that, I don't know, mysterious illness, the always needing a nanny. I mean, it lines up, right? Maybe she doesn't treat the illness so that she can always have a nanny. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.